Is this winter going to be cold? The Indians on the Aamjiwnaang First Nation reservation in Grand Bend asked their new chief if the coming winter was going to be cold or mild. Since he was a chief in a modern society, he had never been taught the old secrets. When he looked at the sky, he couldn't tell what the winter was going to be like. Nevertheless, to be on the safe side, he told his tribe that the winter was indeed going to be cold, and that the members of the village should collect firewood to be prepared. But, being a practical leader, after several days he got an idea. He went to the phone booth, called the Canadian Weather Service and asked, "Is the coming winter going to be cold?" "It looks like this winter is going to be quite cold," the meteorologist at the Weather Service responded. So the chief went back to his people and told them to collect even more firewood in order to be prepared. A week later, he called the Canadian Weather Service again. "Does it still look like it is going to be a very cold winter?" "Yes," the man at Weather Service again replied. "It's going to be a very cold winter." The chief again went back to his people and ordered them to collect every scrap of firewood they could find. 2 weeks later, the chief called the Canadian Weather Service again. "Are you absolutely sure that the winter is going to be very cold?" "Absolutely," the man replied. "It's looking more and more like it is going to be one of the coldest winters we've ever seen." "How can you be so sure?" the chief asked. The weatherman replied, "The Indians are collecting an astounding amount of firewood." A man comes home drunk in the wee hours of the morning to find his wife angry and waiting for him at the door. "Out drinking again?" she says. "How much money did you spend this time?" $200, answers the man. $200, she shouts. "That's ridiculous, spending so much in one night." "Easy for you to say," he replies. "You don't smoke, you don't drink, and you have your own pussy." My wife was standing in the kitchen, preparing our usual soft-boiled eggs and toast for breakfast. She was wearing only the t-shirt that she normally slept in. As I walked in, almost awake, she turned to me and said softly, "You've got to make love to me this very moment." My eyes lit up and I thought, I am either still dreaming or this is going to be my lucky day. Not wanting to lose the moment, I embraced her and then gave it my all, right there on the kitchen table. Afterwards she said, "Thanks," and returned to the stove, her t-shirt still around her neck. Happy but a little puzzled, I asked, "What was that all about?" She explained, "The egg timer's broken." A deaf couple checks into a motel late one night. Upon moving into their assigned room, they go to bed. In the middle of the night, the woman has a headache, so she goes into the bathroom for an aspirin. But she finds none, and remembers that the bottle of aspirin is still in the car. Afraid to go out alone at night, she awakens her husband, then asks him to go get the aspirin from the car. The very groggy husband puts on his robe, then toddles wearily outside. He finds the bottle of the aspirin in the car's glove compartment, then gets ready to go back to the room when he realizes something. He can't remember which room was his. He thinks and thinks, then gets an idea. He opens the car door again and honks the horn several times. Within a minute, all the motel's windows lighten up, except one. That's our room. A little boy goes to his father and asks, "Daddy, how was I born?" The father answers, "Well, son, I guess one day you were going to find out anyway. Your mom and I first got together in an internet chat room. Then I set up a date via email and we met at a cyber cafe. We sneaked into a secluded room where your mother agreed to a download from my hard drive. As soon as I was ready to upload, we discovered that neither one of us had used a firewall. Since it was too late to hit the delete button, a little pop-up window appeared 9 months later that said, 'You got mail.'" A man is driving with his wife at his side and his mother-in-law in the back seat. The women just won't leave him alone. His mother-in-law says, "You're driving too fast." His wife says, "Stay more to the left." After 10 mixed orders, the man turns to his wife and asks, "Who's driving this car? You or your mother?" A Marine was deployed to the Middle East. While he was there, he received a letter from his girlfriend, "Dear Ken, I can no longer continue our relationship. The distance between us is too great. I must confess that I have cheated on you twice, and this situation is not fair for either of us. I'm really sorry. Love, Penny. P.S. Please return the picture you have of me." The Marine was clearly hurt by his ex's letter, so he came up with a plan to exact a bit of revenge. He asked his fellow Marines for any snapshots they had of mothers, sisters, girlfriends, cousins, ex-girlfriends, or aunts. After a while, he had obtained a sizable collection. He stuffed all the various photos into an envelope, including the picture of Penny, along with this letter. "Penny, I can't quite remember which one you are. Please take your picture from the pile and return the rest. Take care, Ken." Two brothers enlisting in the army were having their medical exams. During the inspection, the doctor was surprised to discover that both of them possessed incredibly long, oversized penises. "How do you account for this?" he asked the brothers. "It's hereditary, sir," the older one replied. "I see," said the doctor, writing in his file. "Your father's the reason for your elongated penises." "No, sir," said the younger brother, "our mother." "Your mother?" the doctor asked. "You idiot, women don't have penises." "I know, sir," replied the recruit, "but she only had one arm, and when it came to getting us out of the bath, she had to manage as best as she could." The flight wasn't carrying enough meals for all passengers. Airborne less than 30 minutes on an outbound evening flight, the flight attendant for the cabin crew nervously made the following painful announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so very sorry, but it appears that there has been a terrible last-minute error by our airport catering service. I don't know how this has happened, but we have 103 passengers on board and, unfortunately, only 40 dinner meals. I truly apologize for this mistake and inconvenience." When the passenger muttering died down, she continued, "Anyone who is kind enough to give up their meal so that someone else can eat will receive free unlimited drinks, alcoholic or otherwise, for the duration of our flight." Her next announcement came 90 minutes later. "If anyone would like to swap their choice, we still have 40 dinner meals available."